This is the Rebound Rundown. I'm your host, Paul Fritchner. Your home for college basketball in the Cincinnati area and across the country every Monday through Friday during the season. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Great to have on David Wassler now, finally joining the Rebound Rundown. David, you and I have been playing phone tag for a little while to get you on the show, but it's great to have you here and talking about the Northern Kentucky Norse. You write for Norse Illustrated. You do a fantastic job covering this team day in and day out. It's very helpful for me sometimes if I need to catch up on things, make sure there are things I haven't missed. I know where to go. I check out your stuff. So I really appreciate the work you've done over the last couple of years, giving Darren Horn and this program the coverage that it deserves, especially in the Horizon League, a team that has really become a power within that league. So David, thanks for joining the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Like I said before the show, I've become a loyal listener all of a sudden, and it's really been a good listen. And I'm glad I can come on.
Absolutely. Well, let's get right into it here. Let's get your overall thoughts since you haven't been on the show yet. I've talked to Rick Broering a bunch about the Norse, but I haven't talked to you. Let's get your overall impression of where the Norse are right now.
Yeah, 10 games into the season, they've been a really fun team to watch. I mean, they play a really fun style of basketball. They're getting out and running. They're shooting and making a lot of threes. They got a lot of different options on offense. Dan Goretzka, LJ Wells, Cale Robinson. It kind of goes on, and they play such a fun style of basketball that it's been a really good team to watch. But they're still trying to figure things out. It's early for them, and they're always a team that you talk about it every year. They get better as the season goes on, but this offense has been really good early on. It's helped them win a couple games that maybe last year and years past that they wouldn't have won because they just have that offense.
Yeah. So lose a couple of games early, rattle off 6 in a row. Then this past weekend, I didn't talk about it really at all on yesterday's rundown because I knew you were coming on and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. A loss over the weekend to Purdue Fort Wayne, and it was a weird game because you get up by 15 in the first half. Then Purdue Fort Wayne comes out of the locker room in the second half really strong. Take us through what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, I was up there with Jim and Rick at the game. Really fun game for that first half. They almost couldn't have played much of a better first half. Held to Purdue Fort Wayne to 29, which was their second lowest first half of the year. Small sample size, but still, that's an offense that can put up numbers, and they like to get out and run. They put up 92 against Oakland in a loss, so they can score for sure. And everything was kind of going NKU's way. I mean, Dan Goretzka was going off. It kind of came in waves from Northern Kentucky. It started, Cale Robinson got a bunch of early buckets. Dan Goretzka got a bunch of buckets. It just came in waves for NKU in that first half, and they look like in firm control. I mean, up 15 at half. But the same sort of thing that happened against Cleveland State in their first Horizon League game is they came out of the half, first 5-6 minutes, struggled on offense a little bit in those first 6 minutes, and we really saw that kind of affect the defense for NKU. All of a sudden, Hadnot's getting downhill. They're doing Purdue Fort Wayne's doing whatever they want on offense, and all of a sudden a 15-point lead evaporates, and all of a sudden you're down 6 or 8. It caught up on a quick. Purdue Fort Wayne's a much better team than Cleveland State. New head coach for Cleveland State, so you can understand that. So Purdue Fort Wayne didn't just give up the lead right back like we saw against Cleveland State, but it just turned into a game where NKU's offense struggled early in the second half, and that affected their defense, and they could just never get out of that rut. A lot of sloppy turnovers in the second half. Had 12 turnovers in the second half, and a lot of them were just go through guys' hands or not picking up the ball or just loose on rebounds. So a lot of stuff it feels very correctable early on.
Were there? Yeah, it's a great way to say it. You almost stole the question out from under me. I was going to say, are there things from Saturday or things that let's ask it this way. Things from Saturday that maybe were there in the beginning of the season struggle-wise that concern you going forward? You just think, you ran into one, you were on the road, write it off. This team is all right, moving forward.
Right now, I mean, they're struggling to defend the three a bit. On the season, they're giving opponents are shooting just over 40% from three, which is not great. It's almost bottom of the country. So that's something they will have to clean up because it puts you in such a hole when teams are shooting 40% from three on you. And there's a lot of teams in this league and all over the country that's their thing is shooting threes and making threes, and Purdue Fort Wayne's no different. So that's certainly things that they can clean up. It's a lot of stuff they preach all the time: ball pressure, just not letting guys skip passes across the court on defense that they're doing sometimes, but they're not doing all the other times, and that's what adds up to losing a 15-point lead in the second half. Is you just do a couple of those things wrong, and all of a sudden the team gets hot, and then it just doesn't matter how well you're playing on defense. The team got confidence out of nowhere. So
yeah. Talk me through somebody that you feel like has surprised you so far over the last couple of weeks.
I think it's been LJ Wells. I mean, coming into this year, senior year for him, never left NKU, never entered the transfer portal. He's always been here. But surprisingly, they needed him to be consistent. And that's what we never saw in the years past, is a guy who can get 12 and 8 consistently. And coming to this year, he basically had to be the guy. There's no Trey Robinson behind him that, can pick up the slack. He had to be the guy for NKU this year as a forward, and he's done that so far. He's looked really consistent. He had a dominant first half and kind of got shut down in the second half at Purdue Fort Wayne, which affected in the loss. But he's been the guy that's kind of jumped off the page for me. Rebounding, steals. He's kind of getting all those steals that we used to. It was leading NKU in steals, and all those steals Sam Vincent used to get. Just playing their defense the right way and getting steals and helping spark this transition offense that they love to play in.
Sure. All right. Let's move now to what these next couple of weeks mean for this team, because next Wednesday on the 17th, I believe, it's the game against Oakland. And then a few days later, go back out of the non-con. It's a weird deal. I've talked about it on the rundown before. You play some games in the league, then you go out of the league, then you come back in the league, going back and forth. But play the game against Oakland, you go out of the league, you play Charleston, who has struggled this year, but is generally a tough matchup. Then you go back in the league play. What are you looking for over the next couple of weeks? I'm
really looking forward to that Oakland game. That feels like potentially two of the top 4 teams in the league going head to head really early, pretty early in the year and early in the conference schedule. But I think that's really going to set the tone for this team potentially, is if you're at home, but if you can still beat Oakland on your home court, that's what you're trying to do. Oakland's such a solid team. I mean, it's hard to tell. Every year they come into conference play, they either got a losing record, or you're like, this Oakland team can't be good if you just look at the record, because they play a ridiculous non-conference schedule. But that's the team that could be up there. So I think that's such a key matchup early on. For sure. And then Charleston, and that one, to go back out of the Horizon League, have Charleston again, a tough team. Yeah, and you think Chris Mack's probably going to draw a good a crowd into Truist Arena too, so that's going to add to it. They're going to have a solid crowd for that one, and they've been a solid team. We were looking at the record the other day; it's just a little struggle early on, but they're always such a consistent team that you think that'll be a challenge. Another chance on your home court, back-to-back really fun games on your home court against Oakland and Charleston. Something you mentioned earlier, David, that we've talked so much about over the years with Darren Horn is the development of the players on his team, and especially within the year, right? It's sometimes NKU has started off not as hot as they would have hoped. We had some rough starts to the year. Some of that, obviously, because they have to schedule tough. They're playing bye games. They're getting bought and going and playing schools like Tennessee, whatever it might be. So, the record is a little wonky maybe in the non-conference, but then you get into conference play and things really hit the high gear by the end of January, early February, and you're going right into the Horizon League tournament. So what stands out to you maybe about this group that gives you the confidence that, hey, another kind of shaky start, but then you rattle off 6 straight, you're competitive right away again in conference play? I really think coming out of that Purdue Fort Wayne loss, I've almost never been more confident that they can still turn it around. Like, that's not, you think a 15-point lead, it can be a detrimental loss. I just don't see that with this group. They have too much offense, and too many of their mistakes are super correctable ones that it feels like they're going to get right. They're going to get their defense right, and they're going to get going in the right direction, especially in conference play where it really matters. I mean, this year more than ever, they've really geared the regular season for the Horizon League the bracket's really important. That 1 seed has a really easy path in the Horizon League. So that's a really important. Seeding really does matter more than ever, at least in the Horizon League, just because of that. In Northern Kentucky, it's just too many of their mistakes early are just super correctable on defense, offense with sloppy turnovers, and they just have so many weapons that it's hard to believe that this team can struggle for very long.
Tell me a little bit more about the Horizon League, David. If people aren't watching, don't know what this league is like this year, what can they expect?
I really see the top 4-5 teams being Oakland, Youngstown State, Milwaukee, NKU, and maybe throwing Wright State in there in any order. I mean, it just feels like such a toss-up. You have so much turnover in the league, new coaches. You've seen IUPUI. I mean, everybody plays a little different style of game.
The system.
Yeah, everybody has their own system. Everybody has their own thing. And it feels like such a toss-up that any of those top 4 or 5 that I mentioned could easily win this league. It just depends how they get going. And there's just so many fun storylines to follow around the year. Even if IUPUI struggles, they're going to show you a heck of a game. No matter what. So.
Yeah, they play a incredibly unique style. I will tell you that. David, anything else here on the Norse? Maybe anything we haven't covered? Anything that comes to mind individually or as a group for this team before we sign off?
Yeah, the one thing that just stuck out to me earlier, at least from their defense perspective, that Darren Horn and their staff pride so much on their defense, is that so far this year, early on at least, they're playing a good bit more man than they are possession-wise than they are fist/zone. So, I mean, early on, at least they're playing. Last season, they played fist/zone almost 70% of possessions. This year, it's down to 56% early. This is early. So I expect that number to go up as they get more confident and feel good about their game and their defense mindset. And as a team, I expect that to go up. But early on, at least still playing a little more man as they get more comfortable, and especially going into league play.
I was going to say that was the last question, but I have one more because I had somebody call in last week. I had an NKU student call in last week, and I want to give a shout out to him. 1, for listening to the Rebound Rundown. Thank you. Spread the word to your friends. 2, I thought it was a great question. He asked, for as good as this team is, how can we get more students to the game? Darren Horn's been active on social media about it. Do you have any ideas, David, for what students can do to be motivated to come out to Truist Arena for some games? Because this team, this Norse team going into Horizon League play, deserves an atmosphere. Not to say that they don't have an atmosphere, but they could certainly improve. There's no doubt about that. So what's your take there?
Yeah, I did hear that question as well. I mean, he's not wrong. The student section is just not what it used to be. The general attendance is just not what it used to be. And they're playing such a fun style of basketball that this should want to draw people out to the games. I think it's just all about spreading the word. You just got to, if you really like Norse basketball, you got to invite more guys to come. You can't just come, you and a couple guys, bring a whole group and just really spread the word, because they put out such a fun style of basketball. These next couple games, Oakland, Charleston at home, really good competition. Those are the games people should come out to see what the Horizon League and NKU is about.
David will eat 1 cheese coney for every student that comes out to the Oakland game next Wednesday. Actually, the students are probably on break, so that's probably a bad game to use, right?
We'll find a game. We'll find a game. that or a Norse Up beer, something like that.
There we go. That one too. It twist your arm, right? That one too. Yeah. David, tell the people before we sign off where they can read your work.
Yeah, you can follow me at Wassler on Twitter /X, or just subscribe with your email at NorseIllustrated.com. That's all one word, NorseIllustrated.com.
Norse Illustrated, it truly is. It's a great source of info for Northern Kentucky basketball. So for anybody watching or listening to this and you want your newsletter on these games, go read that. It's fantastic. David, thank you so much for joining the show today, and let's do it again soon.
Thanks for having me. Definitely.